Welcome back. We have Dr. Benjamin Baker here with us, and Dr. Baker is a historian, and he has been unearthing the stories of unsung heroes of the civil rights movement, whose efforts were bolstered and sustained by prayer. Well, I enjoyed the story of Irene Morgan.
Yes, yes.
Quite the lady. So another lady you're going to share with us now, and this is a great time to have you here with us. Black History Month here in the United States, a great time to look at the stories of these people. But I love the angle of you sharing with us stories that we maybe have not heard, and specifically people who were strong people of faith and prayer.
Yes, Chessie Harris, her name is Chessie. That's like Jesse with a CH.
Okay.
Chessie Harris was born in Alabama in 1906, so this is the Deep South, to parents who were sharecroppers. And growing up, she herself experienced poverty, and people all around her in her community also experienced want and deprivation. And early on, she learned by experience and also by empathizing with others the unique suffering that hunger brought. She was often hungry, and you know, she saw hunger all around her. And at 8 years old, she made a promise to God that during her life, she would do something to alleviate hunger.
8 years old.
8 years old.
Now that's pretty good.
Yes, yes, yes. And she developed a prayer life very early, and it was centered around others. And that's one thing about prayer. When you're praying for others, there's something more powerful about it because it's outside of yourself. It's not for personal ends.
Right.
You know, it's for something greater. And so throughout her life, she had a deep burden to do something for those who were hungry. I mean, this is for literal
This was her
food.
passion.
It was her passion. So she moved north. She got married and she moved north, as many did during that era, for better jobs in the northern cities during the industrial boom. But she felt impressed to go back down south. In 1950, she went back to Alabama, and this time she was in charge of the cafeteria, food services, at Oakwood.
Okay.
Oakwood College,
That's
then
your alma
Oakwood
mater,
College,
isn't it?
now Oakwood University. Definitely, definitely. And I also had a chance to meet her. And it's great to know these people, because just sitting with them, you almost get a feel for their spirit. I mean, it's a deep and wonderful spirit. So in the 1950s, she was known to cruise around Huntsville in her car, trying to spot people who were hungry. I mean, when she saw a homeless person or someone that looked indigent or a drifter, she would stop and say, "Do you need food?" And she had the surplus food from the cafeteria with her in her car.
Good for her.
And you know, she would take them into her home and feed them and bathe them and give them whatever they needed. But her constant prayer was, "Lord, let me do more." You know, she wanted her influence and her ministry expanded.
Sure. So what did she do next?
Well, she went through the usual channels. She talked to the city welfare department. She talked to state officials. And oftentimes, helping can be difficult and complex. Because you need licenses, and you know, you need to be vetted, and you know.
But that didn't stop her.
It didn't stop her.
Not Chessie.
It didn't stop her. No. And when one thing about these women, they had determination like steel. I mean, you know, it's impossible to stop them. And so she kept praying about it. And in 1954, she started what's known as the Harris Home. This was a home that she and her husband, it was first their own home. And they just opened their house to anyone who was homeless or hungry or abused or, you know, whoever needed it. And they took them in, they clothed them, they fed them, they bathed them, they counseled them for as long as they needed. But she was always trying to expand it and get more money. So they ended up selling their property from their home in the north, and they sold other things, and they expanded. They got more buildings, they got more property. I think she had 9 homes in all.
Oh my.
And this went on for about 2.5 decades, 3 decades.
God
and
bless
all
her.
in all, she treated about 1,200 youngsters, 1,200 youth, fed them, clothed them, and many of them even now are doctors and
Amazing. Amazing.
professionals. And in 1989, President George Bush gave her the another presidential honor.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the dreams of a girl who was 8 years old and prayed that she could help others.
Yes.
That was an opportunity that never left her through all those years, and she helped so many people.
Yeah, and it says a lot about the nature of prayer, because many times we pray and we expect that circumstances, that God will automatically rearrange circumstances to align with our prayers. But many times He gives us, the personal courage and determination
Right.
to answer that prayer.
There we go.
So,
And the strength to do it.
yes.
Great. Thank you very much. The story
Yes.
of Chessie Harris.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Baker.